What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Tailgate. On this week's episode, we'll be grilling some barbecue chicken and talking Week 6 football. What's up, guys? Welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Armando. I've been in the fantasy sports industry for many years now. You can find my work at footballdiehards.com. I run the Twitter handle for 1 week season, and I also am the host of the Chalk Talk podcast. We created this show to combine three of my passions: craft beer, grilling, and sports. On each episode, I'll be grilling something new for you guys and naming my MVP, most valuable beer. This week's MVP, Sweetwater IPA. Cheers. Alright guys, let's jump into the lock of the week. Alright guys, this week we're going to go a little unconventional here. We're 0-4 on the season, which is really not good. Atlanta's hosting the Bucks. They're 3.5-point favorites. This is a game where I think Atlanta should win. However, when you look at the numbers, the Bucks are 8-3 coming out of a bye against the spread, and Falcons are under 500 against the spread in recent history. So I think this is a good time to go ahead and take the Bucks, get the 3.5 points, and hope that they cover here in a game that maybe Atlanta wins, but the Bucks cover. Let's dig into the bargain bin. In this week's bargain bin, I'm going to focus on 3 running backs who I think are fairly priced and are very affordable on DraftKings. The first one I want to talk about, Austin Eckler, 4,200. Now, the matchup isn't all that great, I get that, but his involvement in this offense when he is on the field is very high. His usage is high. The offense schemes around him. He catches passes out of the backfield, has scored touchdowns in each of the last 2 games, and has been very, very efficient for this offense. He doesn't offer a high ceiling because he doesn't get a ton of snaps. However, the floor is relatively safe in comparison to his price. So he's one of the first guys that stood out to me this week, and one guy that I'm going to be chasing for when I'm looking for bargains. The next guy I want to talk about, Tariq Cohen, 4,600. He's another guy that doesn't get a ton of snaps, but is coming off a bye week. But prior to the bye week, had a huge game, very efficient, and catches passes out of the backfield. Miami is one of the worst defenses when it comes to pass catching backs. In fact, James White had a huge game against them not too long ago, and Dion Lewis opened up the season with a pretty productive game. I expect Cohen here to have a monster game at a very, very cheap price, under $5K on DraftKings, in a really reasonable spot. The last running back I want to talk about is Nyheim Hines. He is very involved in this offense and leads all backs for the Colts as far as snap percentage is concerned. Coming off a 22-touch game, has been targeted at least 5 times off of 1 game this season, should have a significant role with T.Y. Hilton and Jack Doyle unlikely to play this week. He's not a big in-between the tackle runner, but last week he did show different. He ran 15 times, was very, very efficient. I really like him here. I think there's plenty of upside, reasonable price, and maybe the game environment is not one that favors his strengths. It still is a running back that's going to receive plenty of touches in an offense that can be chasing points, because at the end of the day, the Colts are a bad defense. Time for some chalk talk. Alright guys, this week the Falcons and Bucks game is going to be a very popular one. We talked about it earlier in the show, and this is supposed to be a high scoring game, so a lot of ownership is going to be drawn from this matchup. The first guy, Julio Jones, chalk, very popular, underpriced in my opinion. I'm going to play this chalk. I know he hasn't been as productive this season. I know we haven't seen the touchdown just yet, but if there's any matchup, it's going to be this one. Yet last week he had a great matchup. He didn't pan out, but this week he has a 48% advantage rating, and when you look at his history against the Bucks, it's a very, very strong one. 10 touchdowns in 12 games. Very tough to beat that. So I'm going to eat the chalk here. Very affordable, $7,900 on DraftKings in a smash spot. On the other end, Desean Jackson, very reasonably priced, has slate breaking upside, absolutely, because he has the big playability. However, his connection and his relationship with on the field with Jameis Winston is not all that great. They don't appear to have a good timing. They don't appear to be in sync. And I think Winston is just going to look at Mike Evans, Cameron Brate, and even Galladay ahead of Jackson. So I'm going to be fading Desean Jackson this weekend. I don't know how popular he's going to be just yet, but I do expect him to draw some ownership here in a matchup that does suit him really well. However, I just don't like the situation for him. Alright guys, thank you guys for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe below, tell a friend, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Good luck to everyone this weekend, and I'll see you next week. Very nice.